Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Tuesday, the 12th of August. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Article in HelpNet Security this morning that I think is very pertinent and very much a sign of the times. It is a reminder that DNS threats need to be definitely on the radar for defensive actions. I think we are all somewhat guilty of ignoring DNS as a stealthy weapon. One of the areas which I think is most ignored is data exfiltration via DNS. This is made more complex to trace due to the increasing uptake of DNS over HTTPS, DOH, that's known as. For good reasons, that's been introduced to increase privacy. Of course, the downside of that, which is the same with, this isn't a new problem, it's just a new instance of a known problem, is that it's quite difficult to manage what's going on through an encrypted tunnel unless you have the keys to decrypt the tunnel. My personal feelings are that SSL interception, HTTPS, breaking HTTPS, even in corporate environments, is a very thorny area. I had in the past expected there to see lawsuits around this, but to the best of my knowledge, there haven't been any. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't crop up. Yeah, what do you do? Well, I think make sure that you are ingesting DNS logs into your security visibility tooling would be a starting point. Think carefully about whether you should allow your users to interact with public DNS servers directly. That gives you almost no control over what's going on, at least if you manage a DNS resolver or DNS servers yourselves, not necessarily for hosting any of your own zones, but just for doing the lookups. You can pull logs from there as to what is going where. Because for things like data exfiltration, whilst spotting the data in the DNS packets may be difficult, at least if you're pushing resolution through your own corporate resolvers, you can spot things like requests to resolve newly created random names and so on. So just as this really is a brief reminder that if you haven't already got a security strategy around DNS, now is the time to think about it, because the number of attacks that use DNS in one way or another is increasing and will continue to increase. Now, I came across a fascinating article in GB Hackers that is referring to some research that was recently presented at DEF CON. It basically shows how a particular researcher could compromise a car maker portal and take control of cars. Now, by take control, what I mean is they can change the app's view, not the legal view of ownership, but the app's view of who the owner of the car is in relatively straightforward ways. Bypassing the normal authentication controls. The portal does have SSO on it, but it's poorly coded and you can get around it. Now, I think the thing that is most interesting is firstly, if somebody were to use this in anger, the only thing the previous owner would know about it would be they would get an email saying that the ownership of the vehicle had been transferred away. That in itself isn't. Well, it is at one level it's helpful, but there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't ask for confirmation. It doesn't, there's no interaction. It's just a notification. Now, why would this matter? Well, via the mobile app that is associated with this particular car portal, you can do things like unlock the car. You can, make changes to. You can basically do whatever you want with the particular car. It would allow for the malicious attacker to basically unlock and drive away in the vehicle. Now, what's really interesting with this is that means the dealer can do that as well. So the functionality exists via the dealer portal, which is the bit that's been compromised, to access all of the functions in your car, including any security that may be associated with your car. Now, is this the manufacturers that use this particular portal have not been named yet? They will be, and probably if you dig deep enough into the interweb, you will find them. However, it does appear that whilst the research has gone on in the US, I think it would be a fair assumption that this particular portal would be in use in other parts of the world as well. So the original research most definitely doesn't implicate Cybertrucks in this particular exploit. So very interesting. All you need to know is the VIN number of the car and the target's first and last name. Although I think actually it's questionable whether you need to know the first and last name or whether you can actually derive those having got the VIN number and actually got into the system. So definitely worth a read. So there's two reasons why I'm bringing this to your attention. One is blooming heck, that's interesting. I suppose there's three reasons. It's very interesting. Secondly, it goes to show how much we in society are reliant on the security practices of organisations that frankly don't have a track record of understanding cybersecurity at all, but have yet moved into the digital world in an absolutely massive way. It shows poor coding practices. It shows poor testing practices. It puts users at risk of having really probably the second most valuable thing that they own after their house stolen. There's all sorts of things that would be very scary as a consequence of this. And I've said it before. I am deeply skeptical of all this not smart cars, as in like little mini two-seaters. I mean cars that have smart technology in them. I think the risks far outweigh the benefits that you get from just the ease of use stuff that comes with having all this technology. I mean, it would be lovely so long as the technology was secure, but it really looks like at every turn it's not secure. So if you're interested, have a read. There's a link out to the presentation from DEF CON, which makes fascinating reading. And also have a think if you are driving a modern car, which internet connected and managed through an app. Think carefully about how secure that actually is. Right, and finally from me today, I think one of my rants of the moment is around the Online Safety Act, which is the otherwise known as the Online Stupid Act. Fabulous intentions, astonishingly stupid implementation. Wikipedia has lost a legal battle over its challenges to the OSA and the potential impacts the OSA may have on their ability to conduct ordinary business. They challenged the Act on with four particular specific challenges, all four of which have been rejected, but two of which have been left open for judicial review. A lot of it is predicated on whether Ofcom designates Wikimedia as a Category 1 service, which is basically the top tier services, more than 30 odd million monthly active users. Well, in fact, it's a little bit complicated. 34 million monthly active users in the UK and a content recommender system, or have 7 million monthly active users, a content recommend system, and allow users to share content. So I don't know why if you've got 6.5 million users and you allow users to share content, that means you're not Category 1. But if you've got 7 million, you are. I don't know. I don't know whether it's the government or the civil service that are more stupid with these things. But there we go. So yeah, I think there will be a lot more of this if Ofcom designate Wikimedia a Category 1 organisation. It is entirely possible that Wikipedia can challenge the Act on the basis of the impact it has to the day-to-day business. Now, specifically, as Wikimedia has said, in addition to being exceptionally burdensome, the requirement, which is the requirement for age verification, which is one of several Category 1 demands, could expose contributors to data breaches, stalking, lawsuits, or even imprisonment by authoritarian regimes. So I think there is very interesting grounds for challenging. It has been said, however, that if Wikimedia or Wikipedia, the site, gets categorized as a 2A or 2B service with smaller services, then there is no further challenges that can be allowed. It's certainly something that we'll keep an eye on, and we'll let you know what happens with that. Okay, so that's all from me for today. Hope you have a good Tuesday, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow morning.